I want to bring Glenn Ignazio in on that. Major Glenn Ignazio joins us right now. He's joined us many times, a retired Air Force Special Operations commander. So we wondered whether, this would escalate, one thing would lead to another, and we're into some sort of a wider war. It's a single anti-ship ballistic missile that was launched, according to Pentagon sources, by the Houthis. Didn't hit anything, but they vowed to respond to what the U.S. and the U.K. did overnight. Where's this going, do you think?
Yeah, they definitely responded. They said a threat of revenge and all that, but the strikes really took out their storage facilities, launch facilities, and some of their radar facilities to be able to launch this. That missile strike, or that missile launch, actually got about 500 meters from a ship. It was 90 miles south of the Aden area. And in all irony, it actually was carrying Russian oil, so they didn't want to hit that ship, in all honesty. But yeah, so the Yemenis are striking back. They have to show this presence. But really, these strikes needed to occur because we've been using words, and they really do have to get in control. They're impacting the globe, not just U.S. and U.K.
Now, it's pretty widespread. I want to bring up our maps, guys, if we can, so we could show what the U.S. and the U.K. did last night in striking the Houthis in Yemen. So these strikes across the nation in Yemen, again, we're fairly widespread attacks. You look all across the country. These are the strikes from U.S. and U.K. officials. I think what gets important, or what starts to be important here, is a couple of different things. We look certainly at the Suez Canal, and we're going to be concentrating on what goes in and out of this region. But we also look at how oil travels, and that we have a couple of different looks at it here, because how does oil get from the Persian Gulf to the United States? You're looking at the blue line at the top of your screen, and it says it right here, is 32 to 60 days. So 32 to 36 days, I should say, right here. If you look at the bottom of the screen at the red line, that's a little bit of a different story, because it's 47 to 51 days. So that's the effect when you go one way versus the other way. So these strikes are aimed at getting us, quote unquote, back to normal. Glenn, did President Biden do the right thing here? You just think it was maybe a little bit late to the party, so to speak. Is that the analysis?
Yeah, I would definitely do. I think that the strikes were absolutely imperative to happen. I mean, like I said, it's not just words. It's got to be action. It's to put them in check. Iran is using these entities from Hamas, Hezbollah, the entities in Iraq and Syria to strike U.S. forces, and of course the Houthis. So to actually take action on them was absolutely appropriate. Yes, I agree. It was a little late, but you just showed the global impact. I mean, Australia is reliant on majority of shipping, and the Yemenis and the Houthis have been very aggressive. They even shot one of our MQ-9 Reapers down in international airspace just in 2023. So this actually had to happen with action and not words.
One of the interesting things about it, we'll put it up on the screen, the White House is telling us the key players in these strikes, so the United States and the United Kingdom, those will be the top two. And those are the two that are really participating in terms of carrying out the airstrikes. But they list Australia, Bahrain, Canada, and the Netherlands, providing logistical support and the like. The only nation there that's a regional nation is Bahrain, right? So Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State, went over there trying to build up more support in the region, but you don't see Saudi Arabia, you don't see Qatar, you don't see the United Arab Emirates on there. Does that matter, the fact that there's not more regional support for what we're doing?
It's a great question, and I'll tell you one thing. One of the reasons why I don't think you see Saudi Arabia on there is because Saudi Arabia, had that conflict and war with Yemen, and they're at sort of a ceasefire right now, and it was mainly airstrikes. Didn't want to disrupt that. Yemen is one of the worst humanitarian areas in the entire globe. People really need to pay attention to that. So I think it was appropriate that Saudi stayed out. The UK MTO, United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations, is located in Dubai. And that's one of the reasons why UK is definitely involved. That goes from counter-piracy to the current events in the Red Sea. And then again, the U.S. fleet is in Bahrain, so you can definitely see that. But that's one of the reasons why Saudi's out of it. And, it's really in question why the others are staying out. Qatar, maybe because they're involved in a lot of the negotiations between Hamas and Israel, and they want to stay sort of neutral.
And if this builds up, I have a statement up here from Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense, on the recent strikes, saying that today's strikes targeted sites associated with the Houthis' unmanned aerial vehicle, ballistic and cruise missile, coastal radar, air surveillance capabilities. The United States maintains its right to self-defense, but as we know, Secretary Austin has been hospitalized and is dealing with prostate cancer. How much does that matter if this is a wider war and a larger conflict more directly involving the United States?
Yeah, well, I mean, Secretary Austin at the SecDef level is definitely important as far as policy and some of the decisions, but it's really everybody underneath him that takes care of these operations. You know, intelligence has been gathered for time. The operations put together with the coalition, how they do it successfully. That's all military operations. You know, we have the best individuals that do that. So that's definitely underneath him. His is to make sure that the policy and the legalities of everything with the president, he's advised and it's taken care of. But I don't think his situation has been impacted. This operation or a second command could definitely take care of it as well.
Right. The Houthi response that we started this conversation with, does it get more and more aggressive now? I mean, has the wider war arrived, I guess is essentially what I'm asking.
Yeah, honestly, I think that we've seen this spillover. We've talked about it on your show a few times that it's escalated with operations through Red Sea. Iran has said sent an actual destroyer to the Red Sea, but what's happening now is we put them in place. We've diminished some of their capability, absolutely, but they've been very vocal about we now can go full bore against U.S. and U.K. Well, they've actually been doing that, so I don't think there's going to be that much. It's going to be just showing that they don't lose face now after being struck, but
right.
I don't see how they have the same capability that they've had before. So, it's going to be a lot of words, I believe.
All right, we'll watch it. According to Joe Khalil's reporting, the response, such as it is, has started with that one missile. Again, nobody injured as far as we know, nothing struck by it, but we'll see where it goes from here. Glenn, thank you. Major Glenn Ignacio, as always.